Hey, I'm journalist Joshua Sanders, and I may look comfy here in my very welcoming home, but people who aren't comforted right now are those in private prisons. In fact, I've been doing a lot of research lately on it, and it turns out it's been all over social media. There's been the hashtag schools not prisons, and I did some research, and the whole thing's pretty haunting, to be honest. So I wanted to make this mini documentary and bring it to you, the viewer, to let you know some of the stuff that's been going on inside.
What are private prisons?
Private prisons were founded in 1983 by the Corrections Corporation of America, also known as the CCA. Now, the CCA expanded when they went public in 1986. The appeal of their private prison was the reduced need for guards due to the electronic surveillance systems. But problems with private prisons started surfacing in 1998 when CCA was investigated by the Justice Department because of cases of escapees, stabbings, and the deaths of inmates. Representative Todd Strickland attempted to fix the problem through passing legislation. He passed the Private Prisons Information Act in 2005, which required facilities holding federal prisoners to comply with the Freedom of Information Act. However, the bill, among others, eventually died out. Since then, there have been several lawsuits against various private prison companies accusing them of mistreating inmates and taking money from the prisons to keep for themselves. And keeping all of this in mind, I decided to interview some students, professors, and former prison guards to see what they had to say about private prisons.
What do I know about private prisons? I know that Obama was trying to get rid of them under his administration, but once Trump came into office, he decided that he would be increasing the use of private prisons. My understanding is also that immigrant detainees are being held in private prisons, but other than that, I don't know much.
In my opinion, private prison is a large system, but as established for purposes. I once watched a TV show which said the private prison have more costly, more violent, and less accountable than public prison.
What do I know about private prisons? I don't think I know anything about. Aren't they just like profit organizations from the government? Is that just what it is?
I managed to gain an interview with a former private prison inmate and a former private prison guard, and they both agreed to meet with me separately, and we could discuss briefly some of their time spent there and what they really felt like being there. Thank you so much for meeting with me, and if I could just ask, how was your daily life in the prison like?
So these people, they trying to have us caged up in a cell like animals, okay? We live in a 2-people cell. Tell me why these people are trying to have 7 people living together. There is no privacy. Okay, the toilet is always clogged.
So would you say your health suffered at all? Do you think you could still live in a healthy way, or was it just basically impossible because of the private prison lifestyle?
Okay, so I wake up, I eat my peanut butter and jelly sandwich because that's all they give us twice a day. I be hungry. We don't get food in here. And on top of that, we be sick and the nurses don't do anything about it. I got homeboys, dying with leukemia and all of this, but we in a prison. Like, I get it, we in jail, but can a person get some, cooperation with our health?
A single doctor overseeing the health condition of almost 2,000 prisoners.
Wow, this is enlightening. Thank you so much for your time. I really appreciate it.
Oh, and I want to say hi to my mama and my Uncle Louie. I miss you. And it wasn't me, but they called me anyway.
Thank you so much for meeting with me. Can you tell me a little bit about your experience with the private prisons?
So yeah, I decided to work in a private prison after working in a federal prison. After 5 years, I was trying to really see what it was like. I applied to CCA prisons using my real name, personal info, just like any resume would ask. It just raised a few alarms, the fact that they didn't really check my resume. It was very quick, the response. They didn't ask about my current employment or the time I was arrested when I was 19. Very, very odd.
So how was the training? How was the pay?
The pay, it was fairly good, but it was also weird how they encouraged us to recruit our friends in order for us to have a higher salary, which is rarely ever heard of as a prison guard.
How are you instructed to handle inmates?
With the inmates, we were instructed to use force against them. If an inmate were to hit me, I would be allowed to use force on them and hit them back. If I would ever need to call backup, it'd be 5 prisoners on 1 inmate. Very inhumane, as you can say. If there'd be 2 inmates fighting against each other, we were instructed to let it happen. It was just completely different way of handling things in that prison.
Thank you so much for your time. I really appreciate you coming out and meeting with me.
Problem.
All right, so we're right outside the CCA administrative offices. We're going to talk to the CCA Vice President of Operations, Steve, outside of the administrative offices right now, and we're going to try to get that appointment I scheduled. Hey, sir, we have a meeting today with Stephen Conroy. To talk to him for a documentary we're filming.
No, I don't think so. Yo, what is?
So overall, very successful series of interviews. I hope you learned a lot. I know I did, and until next time, this is Josh Sanders signing off.
Hey, hey. She say, do you love me? I tell her only partly. I only love my bed and my mom, I'm sorry. 50 dub, I even got it tatted on me. 81, they'll bring the crashers to the party. And you know me, turn up.